Mary loved holding that ivory-handled brush and every morning combing Elizabeth's hair. Her long brown hair that went down to her waist. Mary often found herself being envious and praying for forgiveness quite a few times. But that brown hair, She would hum every morning as she brushed and combed Elizabeth's hair. Mary had come from the South, and she'd run away up there to New York, and she had found a home, a place where she could work and be paid a few coins. And she loved Elizabeth for her kindness. I am disgusted, said Elizabeth suddenly. She almost dropped the brush out of her hair. Miss Elizabeth, why are you disgusted? I am disgusted. Have you read what they said in the newspaper? It is that fugitive law, that fugitive slave act, all the people that have been coming up here, that have run away, if someone just claims that they are slaves, they can take them back. This is infuriating. It should not happen. We will have to do something about this. She slammed the paper on the table. Mary had never seen Elizabeth quite this agitated before. Now, Miss Elizabeth, you know that there's no sense of you getting all upset over something like this. Peter and I have been talking about what would happen if Master would come back and looking for me. I would never let anything happen to you. Do you hear that? Never! Elizabeth turned in her chair and she looked at Mary. You must understand me, Mary. I will never let anything happen to you. Miss Mary, I know that, Miss Elizabeth, I know that you will certainly not try to let anything happen to me, but I must say that we must work on our own selves. We've determined that, if need be, we will go down up to Canada, and we will find our way there. Mary, I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay here. There's something that we can do about this. I will talk to William, and I will ensure that you will be taken care of without any doubts while you're here. Yes, I'm certain that you will do all that you can do. And Mary laid down the brush. But I do believe that as you begin to think about what you can do for others, well, you just need to make sure you take care of your own. What do you mean by that, Mary? Elizabeth's eyes grew wide as she wondered what her maidservant that she had brought into the house to help take care of her, wondered what she meant by that. I mean nothing by that, ma'am. I mean nothing by that. Let me pack my things. What did you mean by that? I'm saying I don't mean anything by that, ma'am. I'm sorry, Miss Elizabeth. It is my fault for even mentioning something. What did you mean by that, Mary? Elizabeth took Mary's hands. She held them firm. Mary, into Miss Elizabeth's eyes. I remember a story. It was a story of a man who lived not far away from where I lived, down south. He was a master too, and he had slaves. That's all I was thinking about. There's more here, Mary. Say your words. I was just thinking that master, he had a slave woman he took to be like his wife. His own personal wife didn't like that nun and such. Miss Elizabeth, I'm tired of talking now. It's time for me to stop. Mary, speak. Those brown eyes looked up at Mary with such pleading and with such fear. That slave woman had a child. That child was so light-skinned, with such beautiful, long, brown hair and big, brown eyes. They called her Biddy as a nickname. It was short for, at this, Elizabeth's hands shook, and her body began to shake. Don't say it. How could you know that was me? I only know that the master, he loved that little girl. And he thought that he would give her a better life. And he sent her up. He sent her up by train up here to New York, and she grew to be beautiful. She married well, and she passed for a color she won't. Elizabeth had tears that began to stream from her eyes. She turned back to the mirror, and looking into Mary's eyes through that mirror, she said, "You won't say anything, will you?" "Miss Elizabeth, I ain't wrote no Fugitive Slave Act. Of course I won't say nothing." As the tears streamed from Elizabeth's eyes, Mary picked up the brush again and hummed. Until Elizabeth stopped shaking and stopped remembering where she come from.
That's good. That's great.
It was okay.
It was okay.